I hate to say this, but I feel like Real Madrid have absolutely no idea what they're doing. I hate criticizing a team I love, but it has to be said. This team can't attack to save their lives, and Ancelotti doesn't have any type of tactics. But some of the issues also come down to the board as well. It seems to me that Ancelotti's only game plan is to send our players out there and hope they work their magic. But when that doesn't work, there's no plan B. Last season it worked because teams didn't know how to defend against Vinicius and Benzema, and Valverde was also there to help a lot as a right winger. But also he provided a lot of support to our right backs, which our right backs I think is our weakest point of the team. Like our whole right side is weak, and it's not weak because Valverde is weak. It's weak because our right side is mostly just our right backs, and our right backs are just weak. Valverde always has to overcompensate for the lack of quality in that position. Carvajal, I love him; he's a legend, but he's a shell of his former self. In his prime, he was one of the best right backs in the world, and I would honestly say he was probably the best right back in the world. But now he's nowhere near that. He's just not that guy anymore. He is way too predictable. He is not defensively solid as well, but let's be honest, his worst quality right now is attacking. Why? Because he has really no attacking capabilities anymore. He just kind of gets close to the 18-yard box and just sends a cross and hopes for the best. But the problem is that his crosses aren't good. But on top of that, there's almost never anyone in the box. For a team that crosses so much, we never have anyone in the box. And I think that's just ridiculous. Like, I'm pretty sure against Barca, we had like 80 crosses and none of them were good. Like, absolutely none of them were good. But the crosses aren't just by Carvajal. The crosses are by literally anyone who sends in a cross. They are just never good. And it's mostly because of the way our attackers work inside the box. But that's for a little bit later. Now, to get back to our right backs, our backups are Lucas and Nacho. Lucas is decent going forward, but he's not defensively solid. And Nacho's the opposite. Nacho is a complete rock defending. But going forward, he leaves a lot to be asked for just because he's a center back and you can't expect him to be an attacking threat, you know? So Carvajal not being that great anymore, and then Lucas and Nacho are just not good enough as right backs. I'm not to say they're bad players, but they're not good enough to what the team is trying to do. But one of the biggest issues in the squad is Ancelotti not having any tactics, and I mean that in the most literal sense of the word. Ancelotti seems like not only he has no tactics, but he also never has a plan B. Like his tactics usually just come off as hoping Vinny and Benzema work their magic, and that's it. And once that doesn't work, there's no plan B. He always makes his subs really late and always questionable. For instance, we're crossing a million times, but he doesn't put Alvaro Rodriguez in earlier. He always puts him in like in the last 5 minutes, 7 minutes. But if we're gonna cross a lot, he should be in earlier because he's like insanely tall. And I remember against Barca, I think we crossed two balls in when he was on the field, and he got both of them. He didn't score, but he got to both of them, which previously that never happened. This team just overall can't attack as well. They're really one dimensional. If Vinny can't work his magic, then the game is done, basically. However, I think Vinny's biggest issue right now is he can lose his head very easily. Like teams know that if you press him hard, he will probably lose his head. And honestly, most times he has every right to lose his head because they're just kicking him and kicking him and kicking him, and the refs are just letting it happen. Like that needs to change because Vinicius is multiple times he's being absolutely hammered by the opponent defenders, and the ref doesn't even give players a yellow when some of them are obviously yellows. So Vinny there has every right to complain. The problem is that I feel like now he's complaining in every single foul. Like I feel like he has to pick his battles right because now it seems that every time he gets fouled, or not honestly against Betis, he was getting clean tackled and the ref didn't mark a foul, but he would get up and attack the ref like it was a foul. But as a Real Madrid fan, I have to be honest, some of them are just clean tackles, and that's why I think Vinny should kind of cool down sometimes because he just starts attacking the ref, even though some of them are really clean tackles. Sure, they're hard tackles, but they're clean. But overall, like I said, he has every right to complain. But sometimes I feel like he complains just to complain. And that's why I think the refs are starting not to take him seriously because every time an opponents tackle him, he just kind of starts to complain. For instance, against Betis, one of the Betis defenders did a nice clean tackle on Vinny, and Vinny got up and started just attacking the referee. And I was like, "What are you doing, Vinny? It's a clean tackle." So honestly, I was surprised he didn't get a yellow card there because it was a clean tackle, and Vinny just started attacking the referee. So I feel like Vinny should just calm down a little bit in certain situations because obviously there's times where he obviously has to complain because the refs aren't protecting him. But sometimes the ref does a good call and he just starts attacking the ref. The way he complains to the ref is a really tricky line to walk just because catch a ref on the wrong day and he will card you. It's just how the game works. However, I think Vinny is the star of the team. He is the main attacker of this team. That's just what it is. And I feel like and I think Vinny does a good job because most times when we need him, he's always there. But another issue the team has is Benzema. Benzema honestly just doesn't feel the same this season. It could be because of injuries, it could be because of being tired, but his playstyle has completely changed. Last season, he was kind of like a number 10 and striker, but this season, he spends most of his time in the midfield. And that hurts the team a lot because last season, he was the focal point of the attack. But now, he spends a lot of time in the midfield. So when Vinny gets to the end of the field and he looks back to pass it to Benzema sometimes is nowhere to be found. And also that comes a lot into question during the crosses because, like I said, we cross a lot, but Benzema again, there's there's no one to cross to because Benzema isn't there. He's usually around or outside the 18-yard box when he should be like inside the penalty area. He just spends a lot of his time now like as a midfielder. And I feel like we should adjust our play style because Benzema's changing the way he plays, and that changes the whole attack. But even though Ancelotti sees this repeatedly happening, nothing ever changes. We just keep forcing and forcing and forcing the same play. And honestly, most times it does work. And most time they will eventually score a goal. But lately, it just hasn't been working. But also the board is at fault for this because honestly, recruitments are needed just to expand our play style for different situations. But the board are being difficult and just not bringing anyone in. For instance, Joao Cancelo would have been a great fit for this team. We have left back issues, we have right back issues, and he plays both positions. And he offered himself to the team, but the board said no. Cancelo would have fixed a lot of our issues, to be honest. Because even though some say he can't defend, but who cares? We can attack. We're just an attacking team. Our center backs are solid and they can defend. They can defend whenever he's gone and gone up to attack. So he would have been a great fit for this team. Like we had Hakimi as well, and Hakimi we sold him to Inter, and as soon as we sold him to Inter, Carvajal just his form just took a big decline. And we had Theo, and I get Mendy was a good left back, and he still is. But Theo right now, I would take Theo over Mendy. This team just needs obvious reinforcements for like the whole squad. But the boards continue to ignore the issues and just force the team to stay in the position that they are, just because they think the team has a good squad, even though it's obviously not. Like the team overall is good, obviously, but there's obviously squad depth issues that the board just keeps ignoring. So I don't know what's gonna happen, and something needs to change. So thank you for watching. Please leave a like and subscribe if you like what I had to say. Leave your comments just to expand the conversation. Thank you. Have a good one, and also follow me on TikTok and Twitter. The links are in the description. Thank you.